everybody, welcome to Making Crafts with MidPointe. I'm Lauren, and today we're going to make sun catchers using a mason jar lid. So what you'll need is colored pencils, or you can use markers, a pencil, a piece of paper, a mason jar lid that doesn't have a middle, some yarn, glue, scissors, a cotton ball, vegetable oil, and paper towel. To start off, you're going to place the mason jar on the paper and take just your regular pencil. You can also use colored pencil, it's up to you. And just outline that circle. Just like that. So then you're just going to cut it out, but you want to go a little bit inwards past that line so it's a little bit smaller because it needs to fit inside the lid. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle. Those edges are going to get hidden. And you just test if that fits, and when it doesn't, you just keep cutting. Don't do too much because you want to be able to glue down this paper inside the lid. So just do a little bit at a time until it fits for you. Just like that. Then depending on how good of an artist you are, you can decide how to do this. For me personally, I like to use a pencil that I can erase to draw. And that way, if you make a mistake, you can just get rid of it. If you're not comfortable drawing though, you could also use coloring pages. I've done that for a few. So you could just do something with a pattern and decide where you want it to line up in the mason jar. So let's say you want just a flower, you could find where that fits on the mason jar. And you could cut that instead of drawing. Then once you have whatever you're going to use for your sun catcher, your design, you can go ahead and color it. I have colored pencils, I like using those. But if you want to do marker, you can also use marker. It's just going to be a little bit darker. When you're done coloring, you can use a paper towel for this part. I'm just going to use a paper plate. You're going to take your cotton ball and your vegetable oil. And you can do this over a sink. I'm going to be a little bit dangerous. And you just get it nice and soaked with vegetable oil. And you're going to pat it all over, make sure you're not missing any spots. Get it nice and soaked. This is what's going to make the paper translucent. All right. And then you're just going to let that sit for about 10 minutes until it's dry. After our 10 minutes are up, just take a paper towel and blot it dry. Just press it down on there, get all that vegetable oil off, and then it's going to look like this. Now we're going to get our mason jar lid, and I'm just using Elmer's glue. You're going to take that and just put it around the inside of the rim. And it's okay if it goes over a little bit once you put your paper in, because this will dry clear. You'll just go ahead and place your paper in there, and then you can kind of wiggle it around. If there's an edge that's a little bit shorter, you're going to want to make sure that gets covered until all the sides are covered in glue. And you can wait a bit to let that dry before we move on to our yarn. Now for the yarn, I just like to get a nice long piece so I know I have plenty to work with. And you can kind of decide what length you want for this. I have some for my examples that are a little bit longer, some that are a little bit shorter. Whatever works best for where you're going to hang it. So you're just going to wrap it around the mason jar. Make sure it's staying down and not going past that bottom lip. And you just tie it like you would your shoe. And I go ahead and I'm going to double knot it so it stays on there. And then you'll take what's left of the string, and this is where you can adjust it to where you'd like the length to be if you want it longer or shorter, and tie it again close to that knot you had before. And I'm going to double knot it again. So now you can just go ahead and snip off any excess yarn. And that's your finished Suncatcher. So this is what it looks like with colored pencil. And then this is what it looks like if you did marker. Thank you all for making crafts with MidPointe. We'll see you soon. Bye.